Yes, I'm here with Ram somewhere near Vegas, out in the middle of a ghost town, trying out the new 2019 heavy-duty Rams. That goes from a 2500 all the way to a 5500.
Today is really all about the all-new 2019 Ram heavy-duty. What's really interesting is we've taken the same formula that we had with the light-duty truck and now applied it to the heavy-duty, and certainly with a focus on capability. So this all-new 2019 Ram Heavy Duty is going to absolutely shatter the paradigm with power, lead the way with capability, and like Light Duty did, change the way customers are thinking of heavy-duty pickup trucks when it comes to technology and luxury.
Cody Cushion makes your trailer smoother ride, isolates between the truck and the trailer, so your trailer doesn't fill the truck doesn't fill the trailer. Your horses have a better ride, your cargo has a better ride, you have a better ride in the truck.
Okay, let's see. 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. Now that's exciting stuff.
Oh, it is. And it's nice to actually win the power battle, but most importantly, it's nice to have that extra power on tap when you need to when you're hauling the big stuff.
Yeah, and Rod Romaine was telling me that's even in first gear. I thought you guys had a way of it took till third gear for it to kick in the big power. He says now first gear has 100% of the 1,000 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah, we're not scrubbing any of the torque. It's available right off the get-go, and really helps get the big trailers and the big loads moving.
Well, yeah, so I could take this and floor it and spin the tires down and just smoke like crazy, right?
It is. It's actually, when you're unloaded, it's kind of fun. In fact, it's third gear when it's really fun. You can spin the wheels in a dually, and in third gear, it's pretty cool.
We're standing in front of the 5500. I'm here with Rod Romaine. Now, what's your title, Rod?
I'm the chief engineer for Ram Heavy Duty.
So you're the guy who knows everything about everything.
I would like to think so, yeah.
Well, you've cranked up the horsepower to 1,000 pound-feet of torque. That can't be easy.
There were challenges to get there, but I think a collective working relationship between Cummins, between us, and of course our trans and the rest of our driveline suppliers, I think that was a big enabler for us to get there.
Okay, now like the high output, is it still all that package include a 410 rear end, or have you changed axle ratios?
So with the high output, you can get the high output in any 3500. So including a single rear wheel. But in the max tow package for the 35,100 pounds, that would be with a 410 axle.
Okay, good. And you've got different sizes. I guess you're 12-inch ring gear on a 3500.
Well, we've got the 12-inch is the new 12-inch max tow axle is in the 3500 with the high output. So that's a new AAM 12-inch ring gear. It's larger bearings. It's actually a 4.25 axle tubes, larger axle shafts, larger parking brake, and even a larger bolt circle, and larger rotors, 365 millimeter rotors in the rear.
Okay, so the brake's almost the same size front and rear because of the way it brakes? Or
the front rotors are 360 millimeters on all 3500 applications, and then the rear rotors are 358 millimeter on the standard output, and then of course the max tow, as I mentioned, is 365, and all those are gripped by twin piston calipers as well.
Okay, and I know that you've improved the frame and a bunch of other things. Can you kind of go over some of those improvements in the frame, the engine, the transmission? May be a whole lot different there, but
yeah, sure. The frame is 98.5% high strength steel, 8 cross members, fully boxed section, which gives us mass efficiency and torsional rigidity. We've also gone and taken a lot of the cross members and we've redesigned them for better frequency separation for improved NVH, so to better isolate powertrain idle vibration and noise. The exhaust system, we've redone all the hangers on that to control exhaust noise and exhaust vibration. We've coupled, and if you go back in the frame, all of the structure for the gooseneck and fifth wheel hitch, all of that's been strengthened for the increase in trailer ratings up to the 35.1. Even the tag hitch for the 2500 now, that's a 20K capable tag hitch, and in the 3500, 23K. So a lot of changes to the frame for just the structural and for the enhancements to meet these numbers. We've also gone back to the suspension on the 2500s and the 3500s, and just with the geometry of the front springs for improved roll stiffness. We've also redesigned and gone back in the rear of the 2500 with the link coil suspension. We've gone to a progressive rate spring. We've actually been able to reduce the unloaded rate of the spring by 20%, but increase the loaded rate by 40%. So what that gives you is a much improved empty ride, but it still gives you an improved ride when you're fully loaded. So you've got that confidence and capability when you're loaded.
So that progressive coil, you had that last year. So is it different than last year's coil?
Last year we had a straight rate coil. So yes, yes. So
it was progressive, 'cause I know the 1500 went progressive.
yes. Yes.
okay.
Yeah, we had a straight rate, so it would continue to build. Where now we've separated that, and it allowed us that, in combination with retuning the bushings in the rear and optimization of the rear tire pressure, it's a pretty significant improvement in ride quality. We've actually reduced ride harshness by 50%.
Wow, well, progressive spring, I'm all for that, because we don't want squat. We want to keep the truck level, and that's what's nice about the bigger trucks with air ride is they're always level.
Yes, they are.
I love that, what you've done to that.
Air suspension as well. So we still offer air suspension on 2500 and 3500, and there's 3 basic modes within air suspension. There's the normal payload mode, and what that does is as you add payload, the vehicle adjusts the air pressure up to maintain normal curb height. There's also an alternate trailer mode. What that does is it allows you to drop the suspension approximately an inch to provide that parallel relationship between the truck and trailer, which is important when you're towing. There's also a bed lowering mode. Now what that does, that allows you to drop the vehicle about 2 inches, which when you're trying to hook up a trailer, that's really helpful because you don't have to take the landing gear up as high or down as far. You can raise the truck up under the trailer. It just minimizes the time you have to spend moving the landing gear on that. It's also nice if you're trying to move material in and out of the truck, right, just to lower it down a little bit, or just simply climbing in, right? It makes that first step 2 inches shorter, which can be really helpful.
Now this, so you got bigger radiator now?
Yes, so we've actually we have 2 radiators. For the high output, we've actually gone to 1,000 millimeter radiator, or about 39 inches. The radiator actually drove the shape of the front of the truck. So we had to actually change the hydroform and the front end extensions to package around that radiator. And in combination with the 1,000 mil radiator for the high output applications, we've also added active grill shutters. So we can actually close off the airflow to the radiator. That, along with improved front end sealing and air dam, we've actually been able to improve the aerodynamic efficiency of the truck by 8%. It actually takes us to a .409 CD, which is best in class.
Well, that all could help fuel mileage, I would think, but
It does. It helps efficiency, and also with the sealing and what that helps is when you need the cooling, when you're on grade with a trailer and it's a high temperature, when those shutters are open, that the increased sealing in the front actually helps direct the air where you want it to go. So the ability to get the air through the radiator, which is where you want it, it actually helps do that.
So you got the bigger grill. Does that mean more air can go through the radiator, or you've done some things to the grill?
Yeah, we've opened the grill opening up. Like I said, we've somewhat built the truck around the radiator. So the grill got larger by 30% to allow and support that airflow through the grill.
Well,
You can see the shutter vanes.
okay, I see the shutter.
So if you can see, those are the active grill shutters. So in normal driving, those would be closed. But there's actually air comes in through some of the bottom slots that are open. They're kind of hard to see. But then that air comes up behind the shutters and then goes into this new plenum, which is where the air comes in for the induction system.
Oh, cool.
So you can see it's large.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then-
is that how long the radiator is, clear down below that, below the bumper?
Yeah, the radiator width on the front of this truck is from here to here,
Wow, that's a big radiator.
1,000 millimeters.
Wow. That's awesome. And then it's got the same kind of fan, but it's actually got a clutch coupling kind of thing, running off of a belt, non-electric motor running it.
Right. It's actually, the cooling fan is run by the accessory, the accessory drive belt. It is a viscous clutch fan, so it's similar to the thermostatic fans that have been around forever, but it's electronically controlled. So as the coolant temperature starts to go up, the engine control module actually responds to that, and we can modulate the fan accordingly to maximize cooling but minimize the time that the fan is on.
Well, that's cool. Now, what's different about this Cummins, the 6.7 and the turbo one? Is there much improved there, or not needed, or?
Yeah, so I mean the 6.7, although it's still a 6.7, still an i6, so it's still a traditional Cummins 6.7, but a lot of improvements were made relative to strength, weight, efficiency. The core of that starts with a new CGI block, so compressed graphite iron, which has multiple benefits. It's 75% stronger, it's also lighter, and it also has an NVH improvement, so it actually helps deaden some of the noise The cylinder head Cummins did work there to improve the strength of the cylinder head and also improve cooling. New high pressure fuel system. The turbo is also new for increased airflow. It's primarily on the compressor side where the changes were made, but it is a new turbo. Lube pump is new. We went to hydraulic lash adjusters, right, to take some of the valve train noise that was inherently there to help quiet that down. Also, they've made modifications to the front gear drive to quiet that down. So overall, it's more efficient, it's lighter, it's quieter, and obviously with 1,000 pound-feet, it got a lot more powerful.
Yeah, it's a lot more powerful. And then these used to always be able to hear them chatter. Now they're just quiet. Well, is there bigger injectors? I mean, that's a lot of horsepower or torque increase. Is there any other magical things you did in there for the extra power?
I mean, Cummins did a lot of stuff internal relative to just how the controls work, right? The injectors aren't significantly different. It's more the higher pressure in the changes to the turbo. So air and fuel when needed, but it also supported efficiency improvements. So there should be an expectation that the fuel economy will be better as well in all the standard output and the high output.
Well, is the intake bigger and the filter or any of that stuff?
In the induction system, so where the air comes in, we've modified that with the larger radiator. There was no longer room between the headlights in the previous models with the Ram Active Air. So the active grill shutters actually allowed us to pull the air from on top of the radiator. So we can actually get cool air over top of the radiator, and it's a larger duct for increased flow into the air cleaner box, so that when the engine needs more air, we can actually get more air to it.
Okay. And the Eisen still has a PTO plate, so you can add a PTO to it, gearbox?
Yeah, for the Eisen applications in the cab chassis, we still have right side or left side PTO when ordered accordingly. Yeah. So, and in the high output, that is an Eisen 6-speed, and there were upgrades in both hardware and software for improved shift quality and to be able to manage the 1,000 pound-feet and deliver that to subsequent down the line to the driveline.
Does that mean more clutches and a torque converter? Any changes to the torque converter?
Yeah, most of the changes were just small hardware changes. The bigger changes were in the control strategy and improved shift quality.
Okay. Now on the suspension rear air, you can go leaf spring or airbags. And so I saw you got the tank and you got a pump, and you got special things in the tank to get rid of the moisture, which is good because I know friends in Canada with some of the Grand Cherokees, they have problems with it freezing. I don't know if that's the same setup system for the tank and all, but can you add, I saw that there's 2 places, plugs on it. Can you add alcohol to it in winter, or is that necessary?
No, it's not really necessary. We've had the air suspension system in place for quite a while now without issues of freezing. There is a dryer bag basically in the reservoir. So that's how the moisture is managed in the system if you're, through the winter months and through high humidity.
Yeah, I'm in Colorado, so we freeze lines up. That's how it is everybody. A lot of the semis, use alcohol and dryers and all that stuff. Pump, right?
It's the compressor there.
The compressor.
Yep.
Now, you guys always had a tank? I didn't remember the first ones having a tank.
Yep.
First came out.
Yeah, it's an open system, but that tank does accumulate, so that you can get a faster response on the air suspension system.
Okay, so do you have a place to drain the water? Is that what that cap there is?
It has desiccant bag inside the tank that is able to pull the moisture out of the air so that you don't get freeze up in the cold climates or in high humidity.
Is there a way of cleaning that, or do you change filters?
It's basically lifetime.
It always cleans itself.
It's been that way since 2014, actually.
That's cool. The same size airlines as they were?
Yep.
Okay,
that's
so
basically
that's
the hardware on the air suspension system is 100% carryover relative to the chassis.
Okay, it seems to me like every year or so when I drive one, it seems to get improved ride. The first ones are kind of weird, and then it kept getting better.
The tuning, obviously within the software and the calibration and the tuning of the air suspension, right, we're always looking for opportunities for refinement and continued improvement.
Yeah, because I'm really impressed with them now. I like the way the air levels out, all the things that we need, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's great when you're towing a trailer.
Yeah, I can't believe everybody else hasn't copied you guys by now. You guys had it for, 5 years?
Since 14.
Yeah, a long time. Yeah. Well, that is just too cool. Now, there's 2 leafs with the airbags, or what is the suspension like back there?
Yeah, on the 3500, there's still a leaf spring. So there's basically, 2 leafs that maintain the axle's position, and then there's a wind-up leaf that's not part of the load carrying, but it's more for axle wind-up, especially if you've got the 1,000 pound-feet. So, but it doesn't play into the dynamics. The load carrying aspects on the 3500 are all done with the airbag. Now on the 2500, that is a full air suspension. Right, it's the 4-link suspension. There is no spring. There is no leaf spring. It's purely the airbag. So that gives you a little bit more versatility with the ride and the ability to lower the vehicle and raise the vehicle, especially when you're unloaded, right? Because it's purely air.
Now, is your emergency brake any different with this big badass truck? Is it just still a regular brake inside a brake, or is it on the drive shaft, or is it all the same?
The park brake is still a drum and hat park brake, so it's the mini inside the rotor hat in the rear axle, but it did get larger. With the larger axle shafts and larger axle tubes, the park brake got larger to be able to support the increase in the ratings.
That's cool. I can see why you would need a wind-up leaf if you got 1,000 foot-pounds of torque in first gear. Then you're going to have some wheel hop and all kinds of crap out there on a drag race. I mean, you going to see these on a quarter-mile track? Is that what we're going to see?
Yeah, it's all possible.
I want to smoke a dually out here with all that power and see what it feels like. That would be awesome. Well, thanks. I want you to show me maybe the air openings, and then let's talk about the spotter mirrors. You got a new power button for spotter mirrors. That is cool because I've always gone out and adjusted them. I pull trailers, so when I turn a corner, I like to see what my tires look like on the trailer. And sometimes they're not. You can never get that mirror exactly where you want it. So I love the idea of power mirrors. So let's go look at that. Yep. Oh, I love this. To zoom in on it, man. Look at that mirror. And it's all power. I love it. That is so cool. That's why you can watch those trailer tires jump the curb, see what you run over, and all you have to do is push this button, the front button, and then left or right, and then the direction you want to move it. Man, that is cool. That is slick. Now, where's the power fold button? Is that I saw that middle one, this one?
Yep.
Okay, we got power fold. See how that works. Oh, yeah, there you go. Now nobody's going to scratch my truck because they got mad because the mirror ran over them. Yeah, I love this. It needs to have the longest reach that I've seen on a truck and a dually. So you got what you need for a big, wide 8.5 foot trailer. But yeah, now we got power. See, it's called convex. Is that the mirror?
Power convex.
Power convex. Oh, that is just so awesome. I got to get that because that's great for trailers. And you got a big spotter mirror. It looks differently when it's folded over or folded out, but on a dually, this is how I'd run it all the time, so I can see past those 8-foot dualies. Awesome. Now, I just need to know about the mega cab was the one that started the big cabs. You guys had it for a long time.
Yes, we have.
And I've always thought that rear reclining seat was awesome. See how that works. This is what I want. I can have my kids haul me around in this. We'll just call it a truck limousine. And I can sit back there. Well, actually, you're a big, tall guy. Can you sit back there and show me how to run the lever? Because you would be a good example of what this is made for.
Yep, real simple. Lever on the side.
Oh, you just leaned back. There you go. You disappeared.
Disappeared.
Man, nobody can get your autograph now. That is so cool. Look at all the room. Well, you're over 6 foot. What are you, 6'5"?
6'5".
6'5". Yep. Holy cow. Oh, man. You could sleep in the back of this.
You could.
That is, oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, this is the truck. I just wish it had an 8-foot bed, but I guess that makes a pretty long truck.
It would be a very long truck.
So was it an extra 5 inches, 6 inches longer than a regular Ram crew cab?
It's a good question. I thought it was 7.
Well, it could be. It's a lot. Look at the ABC pillar. It's gigantic. You put one of those little opera windows in there. So I want little opera windows. Oh, man. That is big. You can haul all the grandkids in this puppy. Yeah, that is so cool. And then now you have that fold-up running board, which I like. And this one's not so noisy. A lot of these are really noisy. And this one just step right in, and now you can go off-road with your $80,000 truck. Well, thanks, Rod. This is just too cool.
You're welcome.
Oh, you had some big balls there, Jim.
We've had really good luck with both.
3-inch balls.
Instead of just having
Love it.
That way you just get a bad.
Is that holy cow? Now that sucker is heavy.
And Jim.
Hi, I'm Shelly Hughley. I'm with Farm Press.
How are you?
Good.
Wow, that is holy cow. That's a heavy. And you get both of them on the 3500. Do you both balls?
Yep.
Cool.
Fit.
I think the trade I'm going to get is probably going to be 29,000. So
I just wanted to have trouble. I run down dirt roads all
The new Ram heavy duty is right here. 98.5% high strength steel. 8 cross members, fully boxed frame rails for mass efficiency and stability. Now you also notice on the frame there's blue and there's green and different colors. The blue is strength or weight reduction, and the green is comfort and NVH. So, for example, the front hinge and cross member, we've redesigned that for better NVH to help isolate powertrain vibration and powertrain noise. If
If you look down the passenger side of the chassis as well, you'll notice all of the exhaust hangers are gray. Those were redesigned to reduce exhaust noise and exhaust bending, which again, from a customer standpoint, when you're in the vehicle, that reduces noise and it reduces vibration. Also, the C-pillar cab mount is now a hydro mount, so that really helps isolate a lot of that input from the road from ever getting into the cab. Now, as you come back to the back, you'll notice most of the back of the chassis is blue. There's a reason for that. All of the increased capability, all of these cross members were upgraded to be able to handle those capabilities. Including the tag hitch now, the rear tag hitch on a 2500 is rated to 20K, and on the 3500 is rated to 23K. Let's talk a little bit about suspension as well. You notice on the front suspension, the springs are somewhat canted out on the bottom a little bit. That's for improved roll stiffness. So when you're at the higher payloads, right, you get better handling and better characteristics. On the back of the truck, on the 2500 with the link coil suspension, we've actually gone to a progressive rate spring. Now the significance there is we were able to reduce the unloaded spring rate by 20%, but we increased the loaded spring rate by 40%. So you get the stability when hauling, but you get the comfort when you're not hauling. We've also redesigned the bushings in the rear on the 2500 and optimized the tire pressure in the rear for improved ride. Now, the other aspects of ride is just isolating road noise and controlling noise and making the overall experience more comfortable. We did that in a couple of ways. TMM, Active Tuned Mass Modules, which is technology we brought in from the light duty. On the gas vehicles, there's a module on both sides of the frame that actually is a weight that shakes, and the calibration is tuned to seek out vibration and eliminate it. That combined with ANC, which is active noise cancellation, will take out the audible noises so you don't feel it, you don't hear it. That combined with retuned engine mounts, the exhaust, and the cab mounts takes the level of quietness of the new Ram to a new level. We've also, for the suspension, we've added frequency response damping shocks. What those shocks are is basically two shocks in ones that are sensitive to the frequency you drive over. So big events, the shock valving can open up and not jar that load into the vehicle and thus into you. But also high frequency, like washboards on dirt country roads, it'll dampen those out as well. For heavy duty, it's the best combination for ride quality and still providing the performance. Provide that confidence and that braking capability, but with the pedal ratio changes that we've made, it actually reduces the amount of effort on you, the driver of the vehicle. So it provides that confidence with a little bit more comfort. We've also improved the stopping distance. With all with the steering as well, it's a hydraulic recirculating ball steering. It's been redesigned for better on center field, and the linkage has also been redesigned to provide premium steering characteristics regardless if you're loaded or if you're empty. With all of the changes to the suspension and the steering and the body mounts and all of the things that I've just gone through, we've been able to reduce ride harshness by 50% and improve ride comfort by 50%. So you'll notice today it's a significant improvement. Now with all this capability, the core of the capability is with the powertrain. 1,000 pound-feet, 400 horse with high output Cummins. It's basically the same architecture, right? It's still a 6.7, it's still an i6, still a turbo diesel, but there were upgrades made. The core of the upgrades start with the block. It went to a compacted graphite iron block, which CGI. There's three benefits to that. One, it's 75% stronger by mass. Two, it provides NVH improvements. And three, weight reduction. Also, the cylinder head has been redesigned for increased strength and improved cooling. The fuel system now is a 29,000 PSI fuel system. The turbocharger's been upgraded to provide additional flow. Most of the changes there are on the compressor side of the turbocharger. The other thing that was with that was the dual core processor. So you may not think, how can an engine control module be part of performance and capability? But what it allowed us to do is faster communication with the transmission to execute quicker shifts and smoother shifts. Weight was also a significant focus with the engine as well. With the block, as I mentioned earlier, that's lighter, so that was a big part of it. But also what we looked at and worked with Cummins to is all non-structural parts that were previously cast iron, we've gone to aluminum. So water inlets, water outlets, the water pump housing, and some brackets and things. And some of those are over on the table if you want to take a look at those later. But it's simple parts, but at the end it resulted in a 60-pound weight reduction within the Cummins. There was also, as I said, NVH, and again, the block does provide some improvements there, but we also went to hydraulic lash adjusters. So the traditional tick, tick, tick that was always there is gone. We've also added a scissor gear to the front gear drive, which takes up some of the backlash within the gears and provides quieter gear drives and just overall quieter engine. All of the upgrades to the engine, the transmission had to be upgraded as well. And in the high output application, you've got the Eisen 6-speed automatic, which has had hardware improvements and software improvements to handle the capability and support that and provide improved shifts. The base engine, 370, 850, also benefits from all of the improvements within the high output. So all the block, all the lightweighting, all the strength improvements, those are all contained within the standard output as well. And that's paired with the 68 RFE transmission, which has also had hardware upgrades and software upgrades as well for improved shift quality. The base engine is the 6.4-liter V8 Hemi, which this year, with the use of ATMM and ANC, we've been able to expand the fuel saver mode for increased efficiency. By allowing, now we can operate that zone a little wider, and it's still, from an NVH standpoint, it's still very, very good. The big news with the 6.4 is the all-new 8-speed transmission, which I mentioned earlier in the Power Wagon. And the cool part about that, there's 40 unique shift maps within the 8 HP 75R that adapt to whether you're towing, you're loaded, you're running hills, you're running flat land, light throttle, heavy throttle. It adapts to no matter what the scenario is that you're putting the vehicle through to provide the best efficiency, performance, and capability in that combination. We've also got new T-cases for this year to be able to handle the increased input, new drive shafts, front and rear, also new axles. The front axle and the rear axles are all new. And in the max tow application, that's a complete new axle. It's a 12-inch AAM axle